Okay, in this video, we are actually going to make a ball here, whatever you want to call it. We're going to turn this into this, hopefully. Knock on wood. I did get a little head start. I just took the bark off pecan log, and I found the center points. What you want to do is you want to make it wider than it is thick, because when you first start, you get tool marks at each end. So, and I'll show you how to cut those off later. Tools I use is a bowl gouge. Not quite sure what size that is, but bowl gouge. And I took 2 scrapers. These are 1-inch thick, and they were flat. So, but I put a bevel on them, and I used to, because it's the burr that does the cutting. So you want to have one sharpened this way and one sharpened this way, so you can get on each edge of the ball. And I'll show you that later. You can do it with 1, but 2 is easier. And then just parting tool. So that's basically it for now, and I'll meet you at the lathe. Okay, I got everything loaded up on the lathe. It's gonna be upside down for you because of my super high-tech video recording equipment. But what you want to do is just turn it to a cylinder. And you don't need to watch this. I'm trying to cut down on the amount of stuff you have to sit through because it's fairly straightforward. Hopefully this will be the final pass. Almost. And at this point, once you've got it all nice and round, smooth, take a caliper, which I didn't show you. You needed to have one, but you do. Normally, spheres are as wide as they are tall, hopefully. Hopefully it'll end up that way. So you just mark the edges and then find the center. And I like using the metric system because half of 6 is a lot easier than trying to figure out what that is. So just a little tip for me. Just mark the edges and then take down the ends with the parting tool. And again, you don't have to sit through this. Okay, I've got these kind of shaped smaller than before. So what you do now is you want to you want to make this curved so that the cone that I showed in a different video fits on there. So you gotta just shape it. Doesn't have to be perfect because you're gonna round it down later, but just get kind of an edge so you can fit it on there and it stays in there. And I will show you a little bit of it, then put you on hold. I've got it kind of shaped a little bit. I'll clean it up a little bit later, but what I want to point out is save a little, whatever that is, a lip, whatever, because when you cut these off, you want to have something to hang on to. Learned that the hard way, but still not too hard. I still have all my fingers. So leave a little lip, and then this still is kind of not in the best shape. So here's where I start to use the scrapers. And you don't have to go clear down in here, because like I said, all you have to do is get it so it fits on the cone, and I didn't even have to go that far, because this cone's not that big. I guess forgot to mention in the last video, this is about 1.1/8 inches. So anyway, I will cut these off, and I save these. I'll show you in a different video what I use them for, but actually these are big enough I can cut them off and maybe glue some on in the middle of it and make another ball. But I will head to the bandsaw and be right back. So with the ends cut off, this is basically what it looks like. And here's where you need to change your metal chucks for those cones. And like I mentioned in the other video, this just prevents there from being any tool marks in your sphere when you're turning. Have a live tailstock chuck on one end and the other one to the head of the lathe, and try to line it up so the center line is in the center. And you don't have to tighten it down too hard, because then you'll leave rings in it if it's soft wood. And I've got a technique I can show you later how to maybe prevent a little bit of that. You want to tighten up so it actually holds, but if you get a catch, it's gonna spin and burn anyway. So then go back to the bowl gouge and just knock off the, whatever that is, lip. And again, you don't need to watch all of this. And this is actually why I use pecans, because you probably see it, but here's the tool mark on one side and the cutting mark on the other, whatever. And as you can see, this side's smaller than this side. So what you need to do to make it a little more even is pull it up, loosen it, pull it up towards the big side, and then hopefully it'll line up a little better. But this is a solid piece of wood, it doesn't really matter. All it's gonna do is make your sphere smaller than it needs to be. If you use segmented wood or real expensive wood, you might want to care a little bit more than this, but I'll just try to show you what I mean. And you barely have to move it at all, and 99% of the time I move it too far. Zigzag back and forth until you're done. You didn't have to write the word big, I just wanted to show you that it is taking off the big ends and not the small. And like I say, if it stops there, it's pretty good, but it's probably gonna, the big side's gonna be the small side here pretty soon. So it looks like it's starting to cut into the small side, and actually the big side's not too bad. It's close enough. I don't think I can get it any closer than this, because like I say, it's pretty touchy. And you don't need to see this anymore because the camera might have moved on me a little bit, so if it's different, that's why. So when you get about this close, I stop using the bowl gouge, because you don't want to go too far, because then you have to round this even further. So this is where I kind of pick up the scraper and finish with that. And here's why I was saying you beveled and have two different kinds, so you can do one side. You can't just flip it over like I mentioned. It's the burr that cuts. So you have one side for this side and one for this side. And you don't really need to worry about tear out at this point, because I'm far from done, so you don't have to have a delicate touch or anything at this point. It is getting closer. I'll put you guys on hold so you don't have to sit and watch the same thing over and over again. Okay, I got it down as far as I want to go this way. And then after you get it shaped like this, you can rotate the sphere a bunch of different ways just to get these ridges out. And try to make it so to show you an example. Of course, I don't do it bad 99% of the time, but the one time I want it to be bad. Okay, see how this one shakes because it's not completely centered right. You don't want to turn it now, because if you turn it now, you're going to turn in that wobble. And then when you put it back where it is actually good, the ball's going to be out of shape. So you want to try to make sure this is running smooth when you put it in there. Like that. Now you can see it's smoother. And again, just use your scraper and knock off the chunk. You can see the silhouette here, but even when you get it down to low, when you get it almost perfect, you can't see the silhouette, but you can feel the bumps. And I know you're not supposed to put your fingers in here, but sometimes it's more bumpy here than over here, so you don't want to take any off here. You just want to take it off here, because if you take it off too low, then you flip the ball. Now you've got a divot you got to take out. So it's better not to go too low than it is too high. You're not making ball bearings. You're just making spheres that 99% of the time are going to be covered in dust sitting on a shelf somewhere. So good enough is good enough. I will continue rounding this and be back later. Okay, I've only rotated it 3 times since you saw it last, and it's getting pretty smooth on each turn or each rotation. So at this point, there's a little bit of a wobble or punch or whatever. So now it's about time to take it slow and maybe try to reduce some of the tear out. Although I don't, with the hardwood, you don't have to worry about it as much. Softer woods, obviously, the end grain tears out, like pine. So that's what sandpaper is for. And see, this side is smoother than over here, so I don't really want to go on this side much. Just maybe a couple more light passes here. And there might be, you can kind of see maybe a little bit of ridges, but sandpaper takes that out. So I think as far as turning, unless this proves me wrong, maybe one more pass, I guess. Now let's see. There we go. All right, so it's about time to sand. One nice thing about sanding spheres, if your lathe doesn't go in reverse, just rotate the ball 180 and sand it that way. What I use, I start with 220 and have a pad, because I leave it going fast, because if there are already bumps and you go slow, you're just you're sanding the curves in it. You go fast, my thinking is it'll hit the high spots and jump over the low spots and make it a little bit smoother. I don't know. May or may not do that. Anyway, I don't want to do too much because I don't have a mask on, but basically get as much you can, and then rotate it and sand it as much as you want to. Like I said, that's probably as much as I'm going to show without a mask on. So I'll do some more sanding and be right back. Okay, finally got done sanding. You saw 220 grit. I used 320 and then 400, and that's very smooth. And you can finish it however you want to. I normally use clear gloss bar urethane. So, like I said, do whatever you want to. And the pecan is kind of boring, really. Not a whole lot of wood grain or anything, but you can embellish all you want after the fact. So, and I'll show you how to make these in a different video. Thanks for watching.